Hello everyone, welcome to Genius Tech. My name is Steven. I want to use this medium to appreciate those that already subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am so grateful. Thank you so much for taking your time to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, few days ago I started a series on this channel. That is how you can create a blog with Golang, React, and TAILWInd. So in my previous video, we were able to connect to our database, and we're able to run our application locally on port 3000. So that is one thing I want to show us concerning connecting to our database. We didn't even know if our application, we are not getting any response to see that yes, indeed our application is connect successfully with our database. So just to quickly do that, you just have to come here. Now you have to come down to your database folder, and inside it you come to your connect.go. So here we say if there is an error, it should print could not connect to database. But else, if there is no error, we want it to print something to our console. Let's say log log dots let's say print connect, let's say connect successfully. Let's just put that message there, connect successfully, so that this is just going to help us to know that yes, our application connect successfully with our database. So let me save this now. So down in my terminal here, let me clear this guy out here. Okay, then we have to run main.go. all right, so you see we have connect successfully, but we're having an error here saying database connect log.panic line. Where is that? Oh, this shouldn't be, it should be print. I wanted to say print line. Yeah, print line connect. Okay, let's say connect successfully. So successfully. Okay, successfully. Okay, so let me save that again. Now let me clear this, so we shouldn't get that error again. Yeah, we see connect successfully. Then we are good to go. So today, what we want to do is that I want to start creating our APIs that the front end is going to need to call. So the first one we want to do today is to create the API to register a user on our website. So guys, let me quickly say this before we start. If you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly hit the subscribe button. Don't forget as well to hit the notification button, so that anytime I upload interesting video like this, you'll be the first person to get the notification. All right, guys, let's get started. So what is the first thing we have to do? We need to create our model. That's the first thing we have to do. So now let me close this terminal for now, since we are not using it. Okay, so then let's come here. Set our root folder. Let's create a folder. Let's call it models. Okay, this is where all our database model is going to be. So then what is the first model we want to create now? Let's create a file here and call it user.go. all right, so user.go. So inside this user.go, that is where we are going to declare our model. All right, so what do we have to do next is that we have to put our package. Okay, package models. All right, so then we have to declare our model here, that is a struct. So we are going to say type user. All right, then we have to have our struct here. Okay, so then what is this? Is going to, this struct simply means structure. That is how the structure of the user's data, how is it going to be in our database. So that's what we're trying to do here. So what's the first thing we're going to do is that we need an ID, okay, in our database. So which is going to be a type of unsigned integer here. Okay, so then we need to put this JSON here, so that this JSON simply means that we want it to return. If we don't put this JSON here, this JSON, then we have this ID here. What is going to happen is that it's going to return in capital letter exactly like this, but I don't want that. I want it to return in small letter like this, ID. So that's all what we need to do here. So the next thing again is that we are going to need the first name of the user. Okay, I'm going to say first name. All right, so which is going to be a string, a type string. All right, then we need just JSON, how we want the first name to return. I'm going to say first name, then we have underscore name. All right, so this is good. So then we have to have another one again, the last name. We are going to need the last name, which is string. So let me show you guys. Let me come back here to the app. What I'm trying to do. So let me log out now, so that you are going to see that what I'm trying to create is just those details. They are just those details that I'm trying to create. Okay, so let's click the sign up here. So here we requested for the first name of the user, we requested for the last name, we requested for the email, we requested for the password and the phone number for them to register. So it is this model we are trying to declare here. So I'm just trying to show you so that you're able to get it. So it is this model we are trying to show here. So let's come here and say JSON here again. We have last name. All right, so we have last name. Then the next thing again is the email. We're going to need the email of the user, which is going to be a string as well. Okay, then we have this JSON. Okay, then we're going to say want to return as JSON email. Okay, all right, so the next thing is the password, which is going to be a byte. Okay, I'm going to explain the seconds why it's going to be a byte, because the reason is because we are going to need to encrypt this password. We're going to use Bycrpt. Yeah, we are going to use Bycrpt to encrypt our password. We don't want our password to be any user's password to be open in the database, because in case if something happened, somebody have access to our database and then they started seeing people's password, we need to encrypt it with Bycrpt. So I'm going to show us how that is going to happen. So we have this JSON here. All right, so okay, we need to ignore when we are returning this data in our front end. When we are returning this data, once somebody click on register, we want to return the data that was sent to the back end. We want to the database. We want to return it back to the front end, and we don't want password to be included. That will make our application to be unsecured. So we need to ignore this password anytime we are returning the user to the front end. Are you getting that now? So how we're going to ignore that? Just put this hyphen or this dash there. So that will make this password to be ignored anytime we are returning this user into our front end. Okay. So then the last thing that we have to do here is the phone that we have to do. So we're going to say string, yeah. Then which is going to be let's say phone. Okay, sorry, we're going to say JSON. Okay. Let's call this guy phone. Okay. All right. So that's all we need to do in declaring our structs. So that's all we need to do in declaring our struct. So now, what is the next thing we have to do is that we have to quickly do something. Before we do that, okay, let me save this guy here. So we need to migrate this guy to our database. This struct we just create now, this user. So we need to migrate. We need to create this table in our database. And how are we going to do that? So we have to come back to our database here. So below here like this, we are going to say that database dot auto migrate. Okay, so we need to migrate it. So then we have to come down here. So we need to copy that let's say models here dot user. Okay, so this is what we need to do to create this table in our database. You can see once I save this and I restart this application and we'll go to our database, we should be able to find this user created. So let's save now and let's check it out. Okay, so let's come back to our terminal here. Okay, I think we already have it running somewhere here. Okay, let me close this guy and restart it. Let's clear. Okay. So let's restart our server again. So yeah, you can see now, you see create table. We have users, this is the table we are trying to create. Now let's check our database. So let's go to phpMyAdmin. Let's click on Golang. You see we already have table users here. So it has already been created. So we have the ID, we have first name, last name, email, password, phone number. Yeah guys, if you're happy about this, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, we've been able to migrate our user, the model we created the other time in our database. So if you are glad, if you're happy about this, if you're happy about it, don't forget to hit the like button and let me know how you feel about this tutorial in the comment section as well. So thank you. So guys, let's proceed because we see I have a lot to do. Okay, so now let's go back here. The next thing we have to do is that let me close this guy here. All right, so the next thing we have to do is that we have to create the controller. So this controller will be the one to be controlling every our user details. If you want to save to a database, if you want to get a user details, it is this controller. With the help of this controller, we'll be able to do that. So I'm going to achieve that. So let's come here and create a new folder. So let's call it controller. Okay. So let's call it controller. Okay. So here we have to create a new file, and let's call it auth controller. Okay. That's authentication controller dot go. All right. So here we're going to have a package, call it controller. All right. So okay, this is the next thing we have to do now is that now we have to create a function here. So this function will be the one to undo the user's registration, for us to be able to register our user. It is this function that will help us to do that. So okay, how are we going to do that now? Let's come here. We are going to say func here, then we call it register. Okay, so we call it register. So what we have to do here is that we need to okay, so we have to write this function here. So we need to pass C here. Okay, then we have a pointer, then this fiber here. We need fiber here. So we're going to say fiber.ctx. All right. So we need to return this function have to return something. So let's pass error here. All right. So it needs to return something. So fine. Okay. The next thing we have to do now is we have to declare a variable here. I'm going to say variable now. We're going to say data. Okay. Data map. Okay. We're going to say string. All right. So we have, what's the type of the data that wants to map is an interface. So this interface simply means that it's comprises of different data type. It's comprises of our data comprises, this our data we are declaring here can comprise of a string, can comprise of an integer, float, and the likes. So that's why I'm using an interface here, because we already have a byte here. Why is the guy here? We already have a byte here. So if I come here and say string, if I come here and say is a type string and data, by the time we get to the password, we are going to get an error. So let's change it back to interface. So that's why I'm using this type interface here. All right. So what is the next thing we have to do now? The next thing we have to do is that we're going to say variable. We're going to say user data. All right. User data models. Okay. Models dot user. Okay. We are good. So then what's the next thing we have to do? We need the body parser. This body parser will be the one to grab the details. The data we are sending from the front end. This body parser that will help us to get those details. All right. So we're going to say that if there is an error, okay, if there is an error with when we are passing the body, we're going to say dot body, okay, dot body. I hope you know where this is coming from. This is coming from here. All right. So we're going to say dot body parser. So then we need to copy this data here. The data we declare here. So that is the data that will be copied. We want to pass it. So we are going to say if there's an error, okay. If error is not equals to none, okay, then we'll come here. So this is another way of declaring your error in one single line. So if there's an error, we want to print. We're going to say fmt dot print line, okay. So we want to say unable to pass body. Let's say unable to pass body. All right. Okay. So the next thing we have to do now again is that we have to come down here. Then we want to do something. We want to check. Now this time I want to start validating now. First thing we want to do is I want to check if the password length is more than 6. I get what I'm saying now. I mean, if it's lesser than 6, rather, if the password length is rather, lesser than 6, we want to return to the user that see your password must be greater than 6. All right. So now how we're going to do, let's put a comment here. Check if password is lesser than 6 characters. Okay, 6 characters. All right. So let's come down here, and how we're going to do that? We're going to say if, all right, we're going to say if length, come on, we want to check the length of that password. So this is how we do it in Golang. You use length to check the length, you know, of maybe of an array, of a map, or of even of a string as well. You can use it to check it as well. So you can see here now, it's saying that the length built-in function returns the length of v according to its type. If it's an array, pointer to array, slice, map, and the likes. So it returns that. Okay, now, so what we have to do is that we're going to say data now. So we are going to say password. Okay, so if the password dot string, okay, dot string, I wonder why it's not completing it for me. Okay, dot string. Now, why are we converting it to a string? Is because now this password is not a string. This data password here, let me show you guys again. It's a byte here, so I'm trying to convert it to a string so that I can be able to get the length of that password. All right, so we're going to say if this guy is lesser or equals to 6, okay, if that or equals to 6, what do we want to do next? So we want to say c let's return a status. Okay, status 400. I think 400 should be bad request, so we want to return a status 400. Then we are going to return a message to the user. We're going to say return, okay, c.json. Okay, we want to return a message to the user. Okay, to our front end, we're going to say fiber.map. Okay, fiber.map. Then we are going to have we're going to say message. Yeah. So what is the message you want to return? The message we want to return to the front end is that we're going to say password. Okay, password must be greater. Okay, must be greater than 6 character. All right, so this is the error message you want to return to the front end. That, see guys, this is this, your password must be greater. So on type has no feed or method. Okay, what's happening here? We say length password dot string. Okay, so it shouldn't be this, it should be inside a string like this. All right, dot string, sorry about that. So okay guys, let's continue. So the next thing we want to do now again is that we want to check if we want to validate the email address. Yeah, we want to know that if this email address is correct email address, and what you are going to use regex to do that. Okay, so we want to check if the email address, if it's a correct email address or not, so that we don't want them to send you know, improper email to our database. So how are we going to do that? Let's just quickly create a function here that will handle that for us. So we're going to say function validate, let's call it validate email. Okay, function validates email. Then we are going to have email, then what's the type of the email? Should be string. Then don't forget we have to return something which is going to be bool, that is if it's a boolean, if it's true or false. All right, okay, so then we have to say that re, okay, we declare our variable here is equals to reg exp here. We have to import that here, so we are going to say dot must compile. Okay, so then we are going to have a list of string here. We're going to have this guy here. We're going to say A to Z. Okay, then we're going to have 0 to 9. All right, then we're going to have dot underscore. So if you contain any of these, then we have this guy again, then we have plus. Then what's the next thing we have to do? Okay, if it has this again, then if you have that, if you have we have that bracket there. If there is plus, if there is at, okay, so we should add in again. You have this square brackets here. I'm going to say a dash z. Okay, a dash z. So I just need to copy what is there. Okay, why is it highlighting it? Okay, I need to copy what is there now. Okay, let's paste that. Yeah. Okay, I think we are good now. So then the last one again we have to do is that we're going to say plus. Okay, we're going to say plus. Then we have this slash here. So dots, this square brackets. So we just have to paste the same thing here. All right. So okay, we are done with that. So what's the next thing we have to do? So the next thing we have to do is that we have to return something. So what do we want to return? What we need to return re dot match string. Then we pass our email here. Okay, so don't forget this email will be coming from our function register here. So now how we're going to achieve that? So for us to be able to achieve that, so the next thing we have to do is this. Okay, so we need to come down here. We're going to say that if email, okay, if email is not a validate email, all right, if it's not a validate email, so we have to say we have to pass the string. So another thing again is that we need to remove the white space. So we need to remove the white space from our email. Okay, we're going to say strings. Come on, to remove the white space, we're going to say string dots trim. Come on, why is it not suggesting that? Am I wrong? Okay, it should be strings dot trim. Yeah, dot stream trim. Okay, is this trim? I think it's trim space. Yeah, trim space. Yeah, this trim space. So we have to pass. What do we want to trim? It's going to be data. Okay, data. Then we have to pass our email. Yeah, we have to pass our email here. We're going to say dot. We have to say dot string as well here. Dot string. Okay. So then if this guy, what we're trying to do is that we are trying to say if it's if this email they are trying to pass a, if it's not a validate email, if it's not a validate email, wants to throw an error. So what's the error? Let's just copy this guy from here. It's just the same thing. We want to return the status code 400, which is a bad request. Then what's the message we want to return? We want to return invalid email address. Okay, let me bring this down more. So invalid email address. Okay, so then after that, what is the next thing we have to do now? The next thing we have to do now is that we want to save this data to our database. Okay, so to do that, so we just have to come down here. We're going to say user, okay, is equals to models. Okay, it's equals to model.user. All right, so we have this guy here to declare here. So what's the first name? The first name is equals to data. Okay, which is going to be first name, first underscore name. All right, because this is the key, because we are going to be getting an object from the front end. So this first name is going to be the key. All right, dot string what's happening dot, okay, we're going to say dot string. Yeah, okay, good. We have to do the same thing too for the last name. Okay, the last name we're going to say data. Okay, data, we have to pass the string here, that is the last name. Okay, the last name dot the same thing as well, string. Okay, this should be data. Okay, so the next one again we need to do is the phone number. The phone number, which is going to be we're going to say data. Okay, which is going to be phone number. Let's call it phone dot string. Okay, dot string. So then we'll come here and we have email. We need our email as well. So we are going to say string. We need to trim the white space again. So dot trim space. Okay. Then we have to pass data. Yeah, then we have our email. All right, so we have our email. Then here we're going to say dot the same thing, string. Okay, so that is all what we need to do there. So we still need to save. We need to get to the point whereby we need to save our data into our database. All right, so then the next thing we want to do again is that, okay, we want to check if that email, before we create this data, this user in our database. So let's quickly do something. We want to check if this email address already exists in our database. So I think we have to do that because we don't want duplicates. somebody has used an email address, you're coming back again to use that email address. We don't want that to happen, so we need to check for that. So how are we going to check for that? Okay, it's very, very simple. Okay, let's put a comment here. Check if email already exists in database. So that is the function was right here. Okay, so then what are we going to do is just very simple. We're going to say db database.db. okay, database.db dot where, okay, that is where that we're going to say dot where email, okay, is equals to this guy. Then we pass this we need to pass, we're going to say string again to stream the white space, strings dot okay, what's happened there? Shouldn't import string dot trim, okay, yeah, trim white space, okay, trim space. All right, then we'll pass data then email, okay, this guy should be a string here. We're gonna say email. All right, so email, then we have to say dots, we have our string here, dot string. Okay, I wonder why he's complaining here. Trim space return a slice, or they didn't really what's the issue? Data, we have data, the email. Okay, I think this should be here, not outside. Should be dots, this guy here, yeah. Okay, sorry for that. So we're going to say dots first now. So what we're trying to do is that we're just trying to check if this data already in our database. So we're going to put this user data that will declare at the top here. So why is it this user data here that will say dots model? So what we're trying to say is that if in case this email that we are getting from the front end, this data email, if it already exists in the user data that is in our user table, so we want to tell the user that, see, this email has already been used. So we're going to say that if now, okay, if user data, okay, dot id, okay, dot id is not equals to 0. So if it is not equals to 0, so we are going to say that is if the user already have an ID, if this email address that is coming, if it already have an ID, that if it's not equals to 0, then we need to print out an error. That is, let's come down here and copy this again, come down here and paste this. Okay, so then let's come down here, let's change the message to email already exists. All right, email already exists. Okay, so let's proceed now to save our data into our database. So that's the next thing we have to do. I hope you are really following me. Please, if you are if you don't understand, if you have any questions, if you have any challenges, just quickly drop your challenges to the comment section so that I'm going to look into that. All right, so what's the next thing we have to do is that, don't forget, there is still one particular thing we need to do. We need to encrypt our password before we save it into our database. Okay, right. So how are we going to do that? We need Bycrpt. So let's go into our browser here. Let's type Bycrpt to Google. Golang Bycrpt. What's the spelling? I think it's Bycrpt. Okay, yeah, Golang Bycrpt. Okay, let's check the package here. So how are we going to get this package here? Okay, let's see. Just come down here and then copy Golang. No, that's not what I need. I need to see how we are going to say go get this guy in database. What is this? Is it this guy here? Oh no, that's not what we need there. Let's see, get started. Okay, no packages. I'm trying to see how we can install it. It should be here on how we can get it. So though this their documentation and everything about them here. Okay. So okay, let's go back. Let's go back to Golang Bycrpt. Okay, so let's see how to get this guy. Okay. Yeah, this is it. This is what I'm looking for. Sorry, this is what I'm looking for. Go get, yeah, Bycrpt. So this is what I'm looking for. So let me close this and come up here. So we need to I've left the folder. Let me go back to the folder. Go blog. Okay. Go. What's the name of the folder? Okay. Go blog. Come on. Okay. Blog. Yeah. Blog backend. So then let's get this guy now. Go land the Bycrpt. So we need this Bycrpt. So we need to get this guy. So then once it's already installed, then we have to be able to create a function that will be able to encrypt our data. So and it's very simple to do that. So I'm getting an error here. What's the error? This mode is necessary because it's imported in. So what's the issue? Okay, saying I should run this guy here. Okay. Oh yeah, I think that error is gone. I don't know why that error shows up anyway. Okay, so let's come back here. So we are here now. So the next thing we have to do is that we have to encrypt our password. So how are we going to do that? So let's come to user here. This is where we're going to declare the function quickly. So I'm going to say function. All right. So we're just going to take parameter. Let's say user. Then we need to point to this user here. So we need to point to the user here. So let's call the function name set password. Okay, set password. So we need to pass the password here, a password which is going to be a string. All right. Okay. So what do we have to do? Then we are going to declare a variable, call it hashed password. Hashed password. Okay. Then it's going to we don't need the other variable. Yeah, so we use underscore. We're going to say Bycrpt now. So it's going to import Bycrpt for us automatically. Generates password. So we have this pass this byte here. Okay, then we want to pass the password. This password we are receiving inside this function, we need to pass it here. We're going to say password. All right. So then how many lengths we want to be the encrypted should be 14. Okay, so then let's come down here again. Then we are going to say that user now. Okay, we're going to say user. Then we have user. Then we have password. Okay, user.password. User.password. Okay, we have it here. Then we set it to the hashed password. Okay, to hash password. This is all we need to do. You see, it's super easy to encrypt your password. So then let's come back here. Then we need to now pass this, this function here. Where's the guy? This function we just created here is expecting this password here. It's expecting this variable here. This parameter rather is expecting it here. So then we need to send it from this our alt controller inside that function. So and how are we going to achieve that? It's super easy too. I'm going to say user now. Okay, we're going to say user.setPassword. Then we need to pass the password. We're going to say data. Okay, then we pass the password inside it. Then we'll come here. Don't forget we're going to say dot string. Okay, dot string. Then we are going to create that user in our database. We're going to say that if there is an error, let's pass this an error in case it has an error in creating it. We're going to say database database dot create database.db. Okay, we need to put this db here dot create. Okay, should be dot create. Then what do we want to create? we want to create a user. I think you know this user is coming from here, this user here. So we need to create this user in our database. So I'm going to say if there is an error, if error is not equals to none, then let's print that error. We're going to say log dot print, okay, print line. Let's print the error out. I'm going to say error. Okay, excuse me. Okay, now so the next thing we have to do now is that okay, we need to return a message to the front end that this user has successfully created the account. So how are we going to do that? So let's just copy this guy. This time around is going to be 200. The status code should be 200. Okay. Status code. Let's change this to 200. So let's now return a message that's firstly we need to return the user. Okay. We need to return the user detail. Okay. Let's return user. Okay, let's put this comma here. Then we need to get this message: account created successfully. Account, okay, created successfully. All right. Yeah. We are done with creating this register controller. So guys, okay. So what's the next thing we have to do now is that having done this, then we need to create a route for this, so that this is just the API that the user is going to, that the front end is going to need to send the user's data to that route, so that at the back end there we are going to grab it and save it in our DB. So how we're going to do that, we need to quickly come down here. So let's create a new folder. So let's call this folder routes. Okay, so inside this routes folder, so let's just call new file. Let's call it routes, okay, .go. Okay, so then we have a package here called routes. So what do we have to do now is that we need to we need to come up here. We're going to say func now. Okay, func here. We are going to say that function setup. Let's call the function, the name of the function setup. We are going to have C, then we point to fiber. Okay, we need fiber.ctx. Don't forget, we need to, okay, we are not returning anything. Yeah, we're not returning anything. Okay, here now we are going to say app.posts. Okay, oh sorry, it's not ctx, it should be app. Yeah, sorry, it should be app, and here shouldn't be C, we should be app. Yeah, because we need the app. So we're going to say app.post. You know, what's the request we want to send is a post request. So we're going to say post. So we're going to say app/API/register. Okay, we're trying to create our API. So anytime this API is called, we need to call the function, that register function. So we're going to say controller. All right, controller. Okay, we're going to say controller.register. So anytime we call this register, this is what this function is going to be the one to be called. So the last thing we now have to do before we run this is that we need to go into our main.go. So inside our main.go here, we need to do something there. We're going to say routes now. So we're going to say routes. We're going to say routes.setup. Okay, route.setup. Then we need to pass this app inside. So that's all what we need to do to set it up. So let me quickly explain what we've done. The first thing we do is that we come to this out controller, we write a few lines of codes here. We're trying to validate the email address, and we are trying to create the data. We are trying to insert the data we are getting from the front end to our database. And then we come to our route here, we declare this route here is a post request. Then we'll come inside our main.go to make use of this routes.setup, the function we create inside our route. So that's all we need to do. Now, I'm going to check if everything is working fine. So I have if you have a Postman, you can use it to check. But I'm using ThunderClient. ThunderClient is an extension. You can just come to if you are using VS Code, just come to your extension and search for ThunderClient. Okay? I think you should bring it out. Yeah, Toda client is already installed. This is it. It's a very good extension to test your API. So instead of you installing, going to Postman and stuff like that, you can make use of this guy. So now I have it here already, Toda client. So okay, I already have an API here. So don't forget we are talking to this API on port 3000. So we need to change this to 3000. So we have to come to the body here. So here I already have my first name. I have this name there. Last name, I put this name there. So let me change it. So the first name, let's call it John Doe. Okay. So the last name, let's call it Doe. All right. Let's call it Doe. And then this is the password. Then email. Then the phone number should be a string. All right. Okay. So then there's one thing we have to do. We have to stop our server. Let's go back here and restart it again. My next video, I'm going to show us how we can avoid starting and anytime we make changes to our code. So let me open my terminal. Okay. So where's the guy that is running here? We need to kill this. So in my next video, I'm going to show us. I think this video is getting long. So I'm going to show us, instead of you restarting your server by yourself all the time, I'm going to show us how once you make a changes and save, the server is going to restart by itself. Okay, so let's say go run main.go again. Let's see, connect successfully. All right, so okay, then let's come down here and let's try to send this data. It's a post request. Don't forget you have to change to post, and we have to send it to register. Let's click on send. Okay, good, account created successfully. Wow, guys, if you are happy about this, hit the like button and let me know how you feel about this. Yes, we've been able to create this in our database. So we have the ID is equals to 1, the first name, John, last name, Doe, email, and the phone number. Account created successfully. So guys, if you're happy about this, hit the like button. All right, so then let's check. Let's go to our database. Let's see if it's in our database. So it's very important we do. We cross check. So let's come here and we have users here already. You see we have ID, first name John, last name Doe, email, and here is our password. Our password is being encrypted. So our password is being encrypted. You cannot see the password. So here is the phone number, guys. So we've been able to create our register API successfully. So in my next video, I'm going to show you how we can create the login API. So how we can make use of JWT, to get the cookies and all those things. I'm going to be showing us how to do that in my next video. So if you're happy about this video, let me know how you feel in the comment section. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Yeah, I know it's been a long video. I'm sorry about this. Really sorry about this. I'm looking at how I can short the video. But anyway, I know you've learned a lot of things. You've not wasted your time. I strongly believe that. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. My next video, I'm going to be creating the login API. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this tutorial. Guys, see you in my next video. Thank you so much.